in a man that you can't walk away from him no matter how hard you try? Does it feel impossible to emotionally detach from a man you've invested so much of your time and energy into? When you've given your mind, body, and soul to him, it becomes agonizing to try and let him go. Well, today we're going to discuss 5 amazing steps of actionable items on how you can emotionally detach from him and finally be free to find the love that you actually deserve. Welcome to the Players Club. If you're here with me, you're participating in the live chat, and you're paying attention to me and everyone else, please say here or present so that I know you're here present and paying attention. We got SH here, we got Lena Leak here, Shannon I see is here, we got Missy America, of course, holding down the YouTube chat. We got Amber here, Ali T's here, Shannon's here as well. We got Teddy up in here as well. Star Girls over in the TikTok chat. We got LB Scottish, Shelly, Penny, Lily, of course. Welcome back, Lily. All of you, Kayla T, Penny, welcome all of you amazing people. Let's get started today. We've got a lot to discuss, okay? So the first step on how you can emotionally detach from a man, specifically in this scenario. First step, we have flow, okay? Now, I want you to imagine that you're stranded on an island. And on this island, you're starving. Now you need to go get something to eat. You have 2 apple trees that are available to you on this island, and they coincide with 2 separate rivers. Now, you're trying to figure out what is the most efficient way to get to an apple tree so that you can eat the apples and stop yourself from starving. The 2 options you have is an apple tree that is at the base of a river flowing downwards towards the apple tree. The other option that you have is a second river which is flowing upstream, right? Except the apple tree is about halfway upstream. So in order for you to get to the apple tree, right, you would have to travel upstream. That's your second option. Now, let's say in this scenario, stream number 1, river number 1, that's flowing downstream towards the apple tree. Let's say that the distance between where you have to travel to get to the apple tree is twice as long as apple tree number 2 and river number 2, meaning that you would have to swim twice as far in terms of kilometers or miles or distance, however you measure your measurements, versus river number 2. Except with river number 2, in order to get to your apple tree, even though you're only traveling half the distance, you have to swim against the current in order to get to your apple tree. So you think to yourself, probably the best and quickest way to get to my apple tree would be to take river number 2 because it's a much shorter distance, about half the distance. So you begin swimming upstream on river number 2 to get to apple tree number 2. And after a while, you realize that you're actually expending a lot more energy trying to swim against the current to get to your desired apple tree. And eventually you realize that you're burning a lot more energy and calories swimming against this current than you would have been if you would have traveled a longer distance but gone with the current. Meaning if you would have chosen river number 1 and stream number 1, which was flowing downward towards your apple tree, even though you had to travel a farther distance, you would have expended less energy and it would have been easier for you to get to your destination. So you're probably thinking, what does that analogy have to do with emotionally detaching? Flow is your emotions are just like a flowing river of water. The more time you try to spend convincing yourself that you shouldn't feel that way, you shouldn't think that way, you shouldn't miss this person, you shouldn't be attached to this person, they aren't right for you, you want to like escape these feelings, you're swimming against the current. Okay? You're not flowing with your emotions, you're trying to flow and get away from them. So you're swimming against this current. And the problem with that, much like the analogy, is that you are expending so much more energy swimming against this current, right? To try to get to your destination of emotionally detaching yourself. You end up frustrated because as you're trying not to feel something, the first thing that happens is that you begin to feel that thing. Okay. The same way if I tell you, hey, don't think of the pink elephant, what's the first thing you think of? The pink elephant. Right? Because that's just how our brains work. The moment you find yourself trying to say, oh, I'm not going to have feelings for this person. I'm going to detach. I'm never going to think about them. They're just not going to be important. They're just going to, everything's just, they're the worst. I'm just never going to want them or want to be with them or be attached to anything about our relationship or them in general. That's the moment where you'll begin to become frustrated by how much you're thinking of them. And you'll begin to have this internal battle within yourself where you're like, oh, but I don't want to feel this way. But why do I feel this way? But I feel this way anyways, but I don't want to feel this way. And I feel so sad because I feel this way and I shouldn't feel this way. And you just become more and more and more frustrated. That's why the first step to emotionally detaching yourself from any situation or any relationship, especially, is by accepting how you feel about the relationship. So, for example, if you're just ending a situationship that you're like, look, this is going nowhere. This guy's been using me. This guy clearly doesn't want to be in a serious long-term relationship, and I'm getting mistreated because of that. The first step is accepting the fact that you might still like this guy, that you still have feelings for this guy, that you still miss this guy or want to be with this guy, despite the fact that you realize this isn't a relationship for you, despite the fact that you realize he's not the person for you, despite the fact you realize you guys aren't building anything that's going anywhere. Okay? Accepting your feelings and accepting them as being true, even more importantly, is what's actually going to be the first step to allowing you to emotionally detach yourself from the person. If you cannot accept your emotions as true and valid, you're going to spend way more time swimming against current, trying to get to your destination. Okay? Meaning you're going to spend a lot more energy trying to convince yourself that you shouldn't feel that particular way than actually just allowing the feeling and the emotions to flow through you. That's why it's called flow, and just wash over you. Because I don't know if you've ever experienced this before in your life, but it seems like if you were to ever feel something and then just allow yourself to feel it, it doesn't seem as intense or agonizing as feeling something and then battling with yourself. No, I don't want to feel that way. No, I'm so mad that I feel that way. Or being frustrated at whatever it is that you're feeling, right? Because as you allow something or an emotion to flow through you, it just ends up being an emotion. And then you realize quickly it's literally just an emotion. It doesn't really affect my physical reality whatsoever. I can feel it. And as time goes on, eventually, whatever it was that I was feeling or thinking will pass with time. The problem comes is that for a lot of us, and me included, I've been there as well. And I trust me, I'm giving you these strategies because I've actually used them to emotionally detach myself from people and from relationships. And the reason I'm saying flow is so important is because the first thing you want to do when you really care and you're really invested in someone, right? And you know that that's not the person for you, or you know that that's not working out, you just become frustrated and mad at yourself that, oh my God, I know I shouldn't want this person. I know I shouldn't want to be with this person. I know I shouldn't miss this person. But what happens is it stops just being an emotion that can pass through you with time. And it starts being this internal battle that all you can focus on is the back and forth battle. All you can focus on is how badly you want to get rid of them in your mind. And the more you try to think about how you're going to get rid of them in your mind, the harder it is for you to get rid of them in your mind. And it's this vicious cycle that never ends. Okay, so very important that you allow your emotions to flow. It's okay. Even in the process, I know that we're discussing how to emotionally detach from a man. But even in the process of emotionally detaching from a man, it's okay to acknowledge that you still miss that man, that you still want that relationship, that you still want that person. That's okay to acknowledge. You're not a bad person simply because you acknowledge that you still miss the person, that you miss the relationship, that you wish you could go back to the relationship. That's fine, right? Understanding as well that not every emotion requires you to act on it. And that's one of the mistakes that we all make, is that when the pain, when the pain or the feeling or the emotion or the thought is so strong and so intense, we feel the urge to take action on that thought or feeling or emotion. Okay. And when I say take action specifically in this scenario, we're talking about like calling them, texting them, right? Reaching out to them, showing up at their house if you're super crazy, right? Or just doing something to be like, oh, I don't want to feel all of these strong, intense emotions of missing them and wanting to be with them. So I need to ease my pain by taking action and reaching out to them, right? That's what happens when it becomes so agonizing and you begin fighting with yourself so much that you feel like you're in so much pain that in order for you to take care of your pain and stop feeling like you're in pain, you have to take action towards whatever it is that would help you stop feeling that pain. In this case, stop missing that person, stop thinking about that person, stop feeling emotional towards that person, right? And what I'm trying to explain to you is, as you allow your emotions to flow, you'll begin to understand that, hey, it's just an emotion. And it's just an emotion, meaning it doesn't really affect anything. I can actually just feel the emotion. That's okay. And after a while, I won't feel the emotion as intense. That's okay. And allowing time to take care of your emotions, and realize that if you don't take action on it, after a while, and you just allow it to exist in you and flow through you, it will literally pass through you like a bowel movement. And eventually it will be out of you, out of your system. And you'll realize as the days go by, you're like, okay, not that you'll never feel that way. You'll never have that emotion again. Not that you'll never think or care about that person ever again. But like, you're okay now. You feel better now. Like, you're not so emotionally invested or attached to the situation that you're in agonizing pain. Are you guys following me so far? Does that make sense? Okay, that's why flow is the first step to actually emotionally detaching yourself from any person or situation. You don't allow yourself to flow. You don't allow yourself to feel. You don't allow yourself to have those thoughts, feelings, and emotions. You will be very frustrated. Okay. Elida says, but how do you differentiate accepting that he's not my person with just being anxiously attached? Okay, I'm so glad you asked that, because that's what all of these steps are really about, right? Because obviously accepting it sounds easy in theory, okay? And I wanted to give you guys a whole bunch of actionable items to actually help you get over the fact that you're anxiously attached. So, Elida, if that's how you pronounce your name, or Lydia, Lyda. I'm going to go to the next step, which will be even better. By the end of this, I hope you stay for this whole thing. I hope all of you stay for this whole thing. By the end of this, you'll have actionable items, whether you're an anxiously attached person or not. These steps will help you get through this. I promise you. And I'm saying that I promise you because I've actually been there and used these myself to get through a situation and emotionally detach myself from a person. So if you're wondering, but I'm anxiously attached, how do I fix that? I can't just allow myself to feel stuff. It's going to be agonizing. I'm going to be in so much pain. I'm going to want to text them. I'm going to want to call them. I got you. Okay. I got you. You pay close attention and listen to this entire video. Okay. So number one was flow. Number two, this is where we're getting into the actionable things that you really have to actually do in order for you to see results. Number two is write. Okay. Now, I know that some of you aren't poets. I know that some of you aren't Shakespeare. I know that some of you have horrible chicken scratch handwriting. That's perfectly fine. Okay. I still want you to write. Now, specifically what I want you to write about is I want you to think of whatever person or situation or relationship it is that you want to emotionally detach yourself from. Then I want you to write down, split that page that you're writing in half, and I want you on one side to put pros, and I want you on another side to put cons. And all I want you to do is write down all the good things that about that person and about that relationship, right? That happened in the span of you dealing with them or knowing them. Everything good that you can think of, okay? Whether it be an action that they did that was small, a gesture, a gift that they gave you, anything you can think of as a positive that happened through the course of you knowing them and dealing with them and being in this relationship, I want you to write it down in the pros. That's half of your page. The other half of your page is going to be the cons. So vice versa, I want you to write down anything negative you can think about this particular person you're trying to emotionally detach from. Write down anything negative you can think about the relationship that has happened, that you've been through, that they've put you through, anything that they've taken away from you, whether it be physically, mentally, emotionally, how they've treated you, if they treated you badly. I want you to, I'm talking about in each section, be as detailed as you possibly can. Don't be general. Write down every specific situation you can possibly remember and put it down there in detail. If it's like, oh, he said that he was going to call me at 4 p.m. on Tuesday, April 23rd, and he didn't call me at all the whole entire day. And then the next day I texted him and then he told me that he forgot to call me and did it. Write down every single minor or large situation you can think of in the cons, and the same thing with the pros. Be as detailed as you possibly can. Now, this is a great exercise because what's going to happen, remember how I was talking about the brain works in very mysterious ways? This is the amazing part about our brains and our emotions, is that we tend to, as we think of someone that we want to be with, but we know we shouldn't be with, we stop thinking logically and begin thinking emotionally. So for those of you who might be like Lydia, that might be anxiously attached just in general, and especially with the people that you really care about or with a specific person in general, right? It is very difficult to be logical about the person or the relationship. Why? Because obviously you're emotionally invested in that person or relationship. So to just say, hey, I won't be with you because I know you're bad for me, that's easy in theory, but it doesn't actually work like that. And it's not actually that easy to do when you're emotionally invested in the person, you see? So the reason I say this is such a great exercise is because it stops you from allowing yourself to use emotions to guide you in the direction you should be going into. And it stops you from allowing emotions to control your view or perspective of the relationship, situation, or the person that you're trying to emotionally detach from. Okay? Because as you're emotionally invested in the person and as you're emotionally invested in the situation, right? As you think of reasons you should not be with that person, your emotions will override you and make you feel like your investment in that person emotionally should override the experiences that you've actually had with that person. And when you write these things down, it forces you to look at the reality of the relationship and what has really happened in the relationship. There's an amazing thing. I don't know if you've ever experienced this. Tell me in the chat, guys. I want you guys to answer in the chat if you've ever experienced something like this. Tell me yes or no. Have you ever, in your mind, been with someone, even romantic or not, and felt like in your mind you had a conversation with that person? Like you played it through your mind, having this back and forth conversation with them, and they answered you, you answered them, you had a talk and all this good stuff. And you play it in your mind and it's so vivid in your mind that you actually go out into the rest of your life and into the future and you feel like you actually had that conversation with them and you address them or deal with them as if that conversation actually occurred. And then they make it clear to you, what are you talking about? We never actually had a conversation about that. We never actually talked about that. And in your mind, you're like, but I'm so sure that we discussed this. I'm so sure it feels just like we actually did talk about this. And it's crazy how you might be like, someone might upset you or anger you. And then you're like, but I already talked to you about this and I told you how I feel and this and that, right? And you're talking to them as if you've already had a discussion about this. And they're like, we've never talked about this. You've never told me about this. You never told me that this was a problem for you. You never told me that you were upset by this. And you almost feel like, but you should have known we had this whole conversation about it. And it just feels like in your mind, right? You're having a conversation with them, but it didn't actually happen in reality. The reason I ask you guys, and I see a bunch of people saying yes in the chat, right? Missy America said it feels like deja vu. Wei says it's like happens in my dreams a lot. Okay, Sky says my ex would always do that. Claudia says, oh my God, yes. The reason I ask you guys that is because I want you guys to understand how the mind and the emotions can play tricks on you and make you feel like things are real or have happened that haven't actually happened. And when you're emotional about a situation, vice versa, it can also make you feel like things haven't happened that have actually happened. That's why the practice of actually writing these things down as a pros and cons list is so great, because it forces you to put away your emotions towards the situation, and you actually have to sit there and look at the list of the reality of the relationship from your own memory and perspective. Because it's easy for someone else to tell you, hey, you shouldn't be with that guy because of this and this and this. And you're just kind of in one year, out the other year. You're like, whatever. It's a lot more sobering when you write down on a list everything good and bad that has happened in that relationship. And chances are, if you feel like it's necessary for you to emotionally detach from that situation or that person, it's because things have transpired that this relationship or person no longer serves you, or being with them is going to serve to your detriment, right? And in that realization, that's obviously going to be coming from situations that have occurred in the past. So my point being, by the time you write this list down, and you put down all your pros and all your cons, you get everything off your chest, all the thoughts, all the memories that you can imagine, and you actually put it down on this paper, you'll realize that your cons list is ages longer than your pros list. Okay? And that is a very sobering thing to realize, especially when it's coming directly from you. Okay? Right? Because it will help you realize that in your own mind and in your own heart that this isn't working. And when you actually sit down and think about what's actually transpired in reality, not in your mind, and you take away the emotions of it, because when you write it down, you can't really write about just feeling like you're super invested. Okay? You actually have to write down memories that consist of realities, okay? Physical realities, things that you actually experienced in the relationship. And it's good because it's so sobering to see that list of the cons be so much longer than the list of the pros. Because remember, I said you're allowed to feel things. You're allowed to miss the person. You're allowed to want to be with the person. But you also want to identify the reasons why you don't want to be with that person or why it serves to your detriment. And seeing that list out is a great way to have something that you can always refer back to and actually physically look at and remind yourself, oh, this is why I walked away from this relationship or from this person. Because like I said, your mind and your emotions will play tricks on you. Your mind will tell you after a while goes on, right? Of you taking a step back from the person or taking a step back from the relationship. Your mind's going to start playing tricks on you and saying, but was it really that bad? was it really that egregious what they did to you? Did they really treat you that badly? Like, don't you just miss them so much? Don't you miss him, like just being with him and laying around with him and cuddling with him? And don't you miss him being inside you? That's what your mind's going to start saying to you. And then you're going to be in agonizing pain. You're going to be like, damn, I can't be thinking this. Damn, no, I can't be wanting this. No, I shouldn't want to be with him. And then that battle is just going to make it more and more agonizing, more and more painful, until finally, like I said with flow, when you're not allowing your emotions to flow, you say, I've got to take action on this and talk to him. I've got to take action on this and reach out to them. I've got to take action to him and action on this and respond to him. Right? But the great thing about writing this down is that the moment you start feeling like, but don't you miss laying around with him? Don't you miss like the times where you guys would just be in bed cuddling and looking into each other's? The moment you feel like that, you don't even have to do anything. You just pick up your piece of paper and you read your piece of paper over again. For some of you, it might be pages, okay? And you read your pages over again, and it will easily and quickly remind you of why you walked away from that relationship or that person that you're trying to emotionally detach from. Okay? And it's a very good way to like therapy yourself. I know for some of you, you might go to a friend for that, but the reality of it is you can't always have a friend to continuously remind you of every single little reason why you should emotionally detach from this person. And it's a great way to have something within arm's reach that anytime you need it, you can just read it and be like, oh, I forgot about that. That was really bad. Oh my God, I forgot that they did that thing to me. That was insane what they did. And you almost like become angry again, because when you start looking at the list again of everything that you wrote down, and remember, that's why I said, make sure you write it down in detail, because when you reread that list, you'll be like angered again and be like upset again. Like, oh my God, why would I ever go back to someone like that? Oh my God, why would I ever want to be invested into a relationship or a person like that? And you'll almost be like offended that you would ever even have the audacity to think that someone that treated you like that put you through that, you should ever be considering allowing them to come back into your life. And you'll be like disgusted with yourself again, which is good. You want to be disgusted with yourself again, and disgusted with the idea of bringing them back into your life. Okay, that's what you want. You want to be disgusted. Okay, the reason I say that is because like I said, as the emotions are flowing and as time is passing, of course, your emotions can flow through you, but what also happens is your emotions will begin to start to try to justify everything you've been through and allow you to forget all the bad things and only remember the good parts. Okay. Life Sucks says, Tomisin, did you apply this to yourself too? 100%. When I wanted to emotionally detach from a person and a relationship, I 100% did all of these things, which is why I know it actually works. Okay, I seen Nifasimi earlier say, I just reread the messages, right? It's the same idea. But when you have it all on a piece of paper that's dedicated to showing you the pros and the cons, and you know that cons list is like 3 times as long as that pros list, and you write all of those things down in detail, it's a very, very good reminder of everything that has actually transpired in the relationship, that even when your emotions try to take over and only remind you of the good stuff, the real version of you, like the real version of the relationship, is sitting on a piece of paper or an iPad, whatever you want to do, right? Or a document, whatever, that you can look at and remember all of the feelings that you felt and all of the pain that you went through in that relationship. And immediately it's going to be crazy, because you'll be like, oh, I was so emotional and I missed that person so much and I missed him so much and I wanted to be with them so much. And then as soon as you read the paper, you'll be disgusted again. Your emotions will shift to, it'll go from being emotional towards missing him, and you'll just be disgusted again. And then you'll be like, there was no reason for me to even miss them in the first place. Clearly, this wasn't a relationship that I should have been in. And that's why it's amazing. Okay. Life sucks has pros and cons of what happened on. I want you to write down everything on each date, on each meeting, on each hangout. If you guys were hanging out at his house, all the pros and cons, all the feelings that you had, all the memories, every single piece of any type of memory that has happened in the relationship. Right? Arv says, I did this every time I miss him. I pull up the lengthy notes app. It's great. It is a great way to remind yourself of what has transpired in the relationship, right? Jazz says, does this still apply if you have kids with the person? 100% it still applies, because you having kids with them does not mean that you necessarily need to be in a relationship with them, okay? And if you can identify that the relationship with them has gone nowhere and is going nowhere, it's a great way to remind yourself, especially when that person is going to continuously be in your life. As time passes, you're going to want to say to yourself, oh, well, it's not that bad. You know, we have kids together, so they're a special person to me and I have these feelings towards them. And you'll begin to easily forget everything that you've been through with the person. And of course, you have a child with the person, so you're seeing them consistently. And then you'll just begin to fall back into the cycle of forgiving and forgetting everything that you've been through with the person and everything that you realized was the reasons why you shouldn't be in a relationship with them. And with him specifically, and you'll just go right back to the relationship. Okay. Right. And it's the same concept, whether you have kids or whether you just are in a position where maybe you might continuously see the person, but you're trying to emotionally detach yourself from the person, right? Specifically in this case, from the man. All right. So very important. Step number 1 is that you flow. Step number 2 is that you write. Okay. Now, number 3, this is where we get really important, and I want you to pay very close attention because you're going to make this mistake, and it's going to be the death of you in this scenario. Number 3, you need to remove. Okay? Listen to what I said. You need to remove. Now, I'm not talking about remove them from your mind. I'm not talking about remove your thoughts of them. You need to, listen very closely, you need to remove every single item, piece of clothing, any gifts, pictures, photos, videos. Remove every single thing that exists that reminds you of them. Everything. Remove everything. Okay? Your emotions are tied to the experiences that you've had with that individual, with that man. If you do not remove the things that are around you or that you can stumble across that remind you of him, you will easily fall into the trap of, just going about your day, and all of a sudden you accidentally, maybe you're cleaning up your room, and you accidentally stumble across the sweater that he gave you that was his, that still smells like him and smells like his cologne. And your addicted butt takes the sweater and starts smelling the sweater, and you're like, oh my God, it smells just like him. And you're sitting and you're laying on your bed and you're like cuddling the sweater. You're like, I miss him so much. I love this sweater so much. I love him so much. And you're just a wreck. You're just spiraling down a rabbit hole which you can't bring yourself down. And what do you think's the first thing that happens once you got the sweater like this? I miss him so much. I just remember how he used to cuddle and he used to smell just like this. And then you look at your phone. I know his number by heart. I know I deleted it, and I know I shouldn't text him, but I know his number by heart. And maybe if he gets my call, he'll realize how much he misses me too. Maybe I should just call. Okay, I'll call him. It's fine. I'll call him. Hello? I miss you so much. Can you come back to me, please? Oh my God, I'm so sad. I miss you so much. And you're right back where you were starting. Okay? Right? Very quickly, if you do not do the job of removing everything in your life that reminds you of them, of him specifically, you will easily find yourself spiraling down a rabbit hole that you can't pull yourself out of. Okay. And remember what I talked about flow? It'll be a lot harder when these emotions are not like a river and they're like literally a waterfall. It'll be a lot harder to control them as well. And you're going to fall susceptible to your emotions because they're going to feel impossible to deal with when they hit you that strong and unexpected, because you're allowing things to just lay around or be around without getting rid of them and allowing yourself to accidentally stumble upon them. It's the same thing with pictures. For some of you, and trust me, I've been there as well. For some of you, this whole thing, if you're listen to me, I'm going to get mad now. This is the part where I get mad. If you're trying to emotionally detach yourself from that man, you need to delete every single picture. Look in my eyes. Every single picture and video that exists on your phone and computer. Every single one. Every single one. I know that it's painful, and I know that you don't want to delete those things, but I promise you, once they're deleted, they're gone. So no matter how painful it was, they can't come back. They're gone now. Okay? So what's going to happen is after you delete them, and I talk about really deleting them, Shannon C just said in the chat, don't forget the recently deleted album. Delete them out of there. Delete them out of the hidden album. Delete them out of your Google Photos, Lulu just said. Delete it out of your iCloud. Delete it out of your laptop. Delete it out of your old phone. Delete it off of your iPad. Delete it off of your computer. Okay? Delete it from... Delete the Snapchat memories. Delete the Snapchat. Delete the Snapchat memories. Go into your hidden folder in your Snapchat memories. Delete those too. Okay? Delete your emails. If you emailed each other picture, delete them. Throw away the picture albums. Throw away the collages. Delete it all. Don't archive your pictures with them on Instagram so you can look back at them. Delete it. Delete it. Okay? Delete and remove everything. Everything. Sweet said Snapchat's trying to sabotage. 100%. Remember how I just told you stumble across a sweater? You're scrolling on Snapchat, and what's the first thing it's going to say? Oh, 1 year ago today, and it's like a video of you kissing the guy. What's that going to do for you? It's going to send you spiraling down a rabbit hole once again. Okay? Delete it from everywhere. And don't be stupid. You're not stupid. You know that if you're leaving it on somewhere, you know that they exist in many different places. So what I mean by that is don't just delete pictures on your phone and be like, oh, I won't bother about Snapchat. I don't check Snapchat anyways. And then 3 months from now, you're seeing, 1 year ago today on your Snapchat memories, and now you're crying again. Okay. Do yourself a favor. And if you're trying to emotionally detach from this man, delete it from everywhere at once. It'll be painful deleting them because you'll be like, oh my God, I'm never going to have these memories again. After they're deleted, it'll be done. And you won't even have to debate yourself on whether or not to check those things, whether or not to look at those things, whether or not to wear his sweater. You won't have to debate yourself with anything. They'll be gone. So you won't have a choice, which is good. If you're trying to emotionally detach from a person, you need to help yourself by not giving yourself a choice sometimes. Okay. Lily says, should I block him? That's included in what we're talking about remove. For some of you addicts, okay, that cannot help yourself, and I'm not saying that because I'm better than you. Trust me, we've all been there. For some of you addicts that cannot help yourself but be on the phone. And when you know that you shouldn't be with that man, instead of talking to him, now you're on the phone, and every second now you're checking his WhatsApp story. Oh, did he post something on his WhatsApp story? Well, what did he post? You're checking his Instagram story. Did he post something on his Instagram story? What did he post? He's out at dinner. Let me see if there's 2 forks or 1. How many plates? He usually doesn't order that. That side's probably for another girl. And you're going insane. Okay? If you know that you're like that, you need to block him. You need to block him. Okay? I'm telling you this because the same way I talk to you guys about the sweater and how it will send you down a rabbit hole is the same thing with the addiction to checking and seeing what he's up to now. Because for some of you, not blocking him is only going to make it easier for you to feed that monster. It's a monster. It's a monster that wants to check and see everything he's doing. And but I haven't checked his story all day. Maybe I'll just check it once and see what he's doing. Right? Every time you feed that monster, it grows bigger and bigger and bigger until that monster is so big that you can no longer control it. And then what happens again? Your emotions aren't like a river anymore. They're like a waterfall. They're like Niagara Falls, and they're totally out of your control. And so what does that do to you? It forces you to feel like the only way to get rid of all of this pain and agony is by taking action and reaching out to him. And you've ruined everything you've been working for. Okay? So it's very vital that you remove everything. Delete the pictures, delete the videos, delete the Snapchat memories, get rid of the clothes. Like I said, don't leave any clothing items laying around. No sweaters, no shirts. If he hasn't taken them back and you and you know you have no way of returning them to him, or you just don't want to bother trying to handle a way to don't use returning them to him as an excuse to see him. You're better off just throwing them in the trash. I mean, actually throwing them in the trash, not putting them in a trash bag that you can find again. I mean, actually throwing them in the trash can, in a public trash can that you don't have access to and you know that it's gone forever. Okay. Don't put it in storage. Okay. Don't put it in your basement. Don't put it in your closet in a trash bag. Actually throw it away. Okay, get rid of it that you're not tempted to pull it out for any reason, and get rid of it so that you don't accidentally stumble across it for any reason. Shirts, sweater, pants, underwear. I don't care. You're weird if you keep his underwear, but underwear, socks, towels, brushes. If he slept over at your place a bunch and he left his toothbrush, he left his armpit scrubber, he left his face wash, throw it away. Throw it away. I don't care if he left a travel toothpaste. Throw it away. Okay? Everything. Don't leave nothing. Nothing. Okay? Used condom. Throw it away. Get rid of his favorite anything. Throw it away. Get rid of it. Get rid of it. He got his favorite snacks in your kitchen because he comes over. He likes to get rid of those snacks. Get rid of them. All of them. Nothing. Don't keep anything that will remind you of the person. Nothing. Screensaver. Get rid of it. Change it. Like I said, his favorite anything. Get rid of it. I don't care how small it is. Okay? Get rid of anything his favorite, because that will remind you of him because it's his favorite. All right? Don't watch no damn movies that are his favorite. Don't watch no damn movies that you guys may love to. Don't watch no damn movies that remind you. Get rid of it. Any songs that you guys, had a lot of fun to, that's like your song. Delete it from your phone. Don't listen to it ever again. Get rid of it. When I say remove, I literally mean remove everything. Are you trying to emotionally detach from him or not? Because if you are, you need to remove everything. Everything. And I truly mean that. You will never be able to emotionally detach yourself from someone when you allow things to lay around that you can stumble across that remind you of the person. You're going to spiral. I'm telling you this because I've experienced this. You will spiral. You will spiral. Okay? And it's not fun when you spiral. Special K says, what if he owes you money? Doesn't matter. Okay. Actually, I'm so glad that you brought this up, Special K. Your natural desire when you're emotionally invested in someone and you're trying to get over them will be to come up with reasons why you have to see them one last time. Remember, I just talked to you about don't bother returning the clothes to him. Actually, just throw them in the trash. Because what happens is you're going to, this is the trick that I'm telling you this because I've been through it. Your mind's going to play a trick on you when you're trying to emotionally detach yourself from someone that you've been really invested in. You're going to hold things as excuses to see that person or come across that person again. So I'll give you an example, right? So let's say you want to get rid of the clothes. And you're like, oh, I got to get rid of these clothes. I don't want to have these clothes anymore. And you're like, oh, but I don't really want to, I don't have time to go return these clothes to him. I'll hold on to these clothes until I can return them to him. It's doing two things that are really bad. First of all, it's giving you hope that you will see that person again. You have the clothes in your possession, which means you can stumble across them. But you're also, in your mind, you're not allowing that person, or you're not allowing yourself to feel like, okay, the relationship is done. I don't have to worry about the next time I'm going to see them. I don't even really have to think about them if I don't want to, because I'm not going to see them again. As the clothes sit in your closet, and as you continuously say to yourself, oh, but I have to return the clothes to him at some point, your mind plays this trick on you where it becomes an ongoing relationship still. And you continue to be attached to the person because you feel like, oh, well, I'm still have to see you to deliver your clothes to you. And so in that time in between, you just continuously think about them as if you're still ongoing invested in them the same amount that you were the entire time. And so it defeats the whole purpose of emotionally detaching yourself. And so as it relates to Special K's question, right, it's the same thing with, oh, but he owes me money, but I have to get this from him. He's got to return this to me. He's got to give me back my this. He's got to do this thing. Or we have blah, 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 blah. When you're trying to emotionally detach yourself from someone, if there are things that exist, like you share a dog or you share a bank account or whatever, something that like actually ties you to the person, take care of all of those things at once and as quickly and as efficiently as you can. If you truly have decided you're emotionally detaching yourself with this person, take care of those things in one day if you can, right? Don't procrastinate anything past a couple of days. Because what's going to happen is if you say, oh, but he owes me money. Oh, but I've got to get this back from him. Oh, but he's got to return to me this belonging, or I got to return to him this belonging, right? All that's going to happen is as you stretch that and stretch that and stretch that and stretch that, sometimes even you're going to procrastinate on doing that because once you return that to him, once he gives you the money he owes you, once you figure out that thing and that's it, you'll have no reason to go back to him. You'll have no reason to see him again. And for some of you, you're in a situation where you don't want to never have a reason to speak to him again. So subconsciously, you're going to hold on to the idea that, but I still need to get my money. I still need to get my clothes. I still need to pick up my toothbrush. I still need to pick up my lint brush. And you'll come up with all of these different reasons why, but it's got to be one more. We got to see you one more time. It's not even about seeing you. I don't even want to hang out. I hate you, but I just got to get this one thing from you. I just can't go without it. Okay. Right. And it becomes a vicious cycle. So when you're ready to remove him from your life and you're ready to emotionally detach yourself from him and the situation, you need to remove everything and do not leave anything left that requires you, oh, I got to go see him and return this, or he's got to come see me and return this to me. Get rid of it all and do it all as quickly and as efficiently as you possibly can. Do not procrastinate or prolong anything. If he owes you money, right? It's like $100, $50, take the loss and move on. Because I guarantee you, if you were going this long without getting your money, you didn't really need the money. Truthfully. Newsflash. If you, for those of you, I know it's not just Special K, but if you ever think to yourself, oh, but he owes me money. Oh, I've got to get this back from him, right? If you were going this long without it, whether it be money or a clothing item or what bracelet, whatever it may be, then you clearly didn't care enough about it to actually have it in your possession. Or you didn't need the money that bad. If you needed it that bad, you would have needed it that bad while you were still in the relationship with that man. Okay? Sky says, what if it was 1K or more? The same thing. If you really needed that $1,000 that badly, if you really needed it to be paid back that badly, you would have tried to get it while you were in a relationship. But some of you are so happy being in the relationship, you're like, well, it doesn't really matter. I don't really care. You can pay me back whenever. Cool. Then you don't really care about the 1,000 that much. You don't. Because if you did, it would have been an emphasis while you were in a relationship. Don't magically care about the $1,000 now because you don't got the relationship no more. Because that's what some of you are doing, right? You're passing off everything as like, oh, it's not a big deal. I don't really care about it. It's not a big deal because you got the man, right? Because you're in the relationship. Then as soon as you're not in the relationship, all of a sudden now you care, right? Sky said, yeah, I kind of do. The day he took it is the day we ended. Why did you give him $1,000 the day you ended? Okay. This is where you got to be smart. And sometimes you just got to take the L. If that was the day you guys ended it, sometimes you got to take the L. And take the L for your own sanity. Okay. Sometimes you got to take the L for your own sanity and just say to yourself, the best thing for me is not to spend all my time chasing this man around, trying to get back my money or trying to get back my bracelet, trying to get back my earrings. The best thing for my sanity is to move on from the situation. And so that might be your situation, Sky, right? For you, the best thing for your own sanity, regardless of how he got the $1,000 or when he got the $1,000, the best thing for your sanity would honestly probably be to just detach yourself from the situation and move forward. Because the longer you spend telling yourself, but I need that $1,000, but I need that $1,000, but you got to pay me back, the longer you will continue being emotionally invested in him and the relationship, even though it's over. And that's how you find yourself in a situation where 2, 3, 4 years down the line, you're still invested in someone who's literally building relationships with other people and you can't get over them, right? Because you're keeping this ongoing thought in your mind, but I got to get my $1,000 back. Newsflash, and some of you might be in Sky's position. If the $1,000 was really like life-changing money to you that you had to get it back and it's life and death, go ahead, go take him to court. If it's really that serious to you, okay? If it's like, the end of the world if you don't get this money, because I can't be in everyone's situation, go ahead. Take him to court to get your money back if it's life-changing like that. Okay? Now, if you feel like, that's so extra, I wouldn't take him to court. I'm not going to get lawyers involved. I'm not going to do all that extra stuff to get the $1,000 back. Bingo. That means it's not that important to you. Okay? That means it's not really, truly that important to you. If it was, you wouldn't have a problem jumping through a few hoops to get your money back. Right? This is where you have to be honest with yourself about why you're doing the things that you're doing. The mind is so good at playing tricks on you to convince you, oh no, I'm doing this because I want my $1,000 back. I'm talking to him and continuing this relationship because I want to get my $1,000 back. That's the only reason why I'm continuing to sleep with him over and over again, weeks after we broke up and ended our relationship. It's because I want my $1,000 back. No. You're doing that because you want to continue the relationship. If it was really about your $1,000, you could do that without going over to his place and sleeping over and cuddling him and giving him your Squirtle. But you don't want to tell yourself that, okay? Which is why you're using it as an excuse. That's why I say, right? When we're talking about emotionally detaching ourselves from someone, from a man for you guys specifically, you want to be very aware of the ways your mind will play tricks on you in the process of you trying to emotionally detach yourself from that person or that situation or relationship. Your mind will play a lot of tricks on you. And we'll talk about anticipation in a little bit, because it's very good when you're trying to emotionally detach yourself from a person or a relationship, that you anticipate the feelings that you're going to have, the thoughts that you're going to have, the reactions and responses that you're going to get, because it will help you work on those things. We'll get to anticipation in a bit. So flow was number 1. Number 2, we have writing. Number 3, we have removing, right? Number 4, and this is a great one. I really want you guys to pay attention to this. Number 4, we have explore or exploring. Okay. So I want you to begin, right? You're trying to emotionally detach yourself from someone. You're trying to get over this relationship or situationship that hasn't been working out for you. I want you to begin exploring things that you enjoy and things that you're passionate about. If you don't know what your passions are, just start doing some things that you like doing. Not that you like doing with boys, and not that you like doing around boys. I want you to explore hobbies of yours or possible passions of yours, things that you enjoy. Why? Excuse me. Why do I want you to explore the things that you enjoy? Because in the process of emotionally detaching yourself from him, you're going to have a transition period where a lot of your time, remember I talked about the very beginning, your time and energy has also been invested into that guy, right? As you've been emotionally invested in that person. Now, when you emotionally detach yourself from that guy, what's going to happen is there's going to be a excess of time and energy that is now existing that was once being invested in that person. This is why it's so dangerous to it's so dangerous, but it's also so important to identify if you're staying in a relationship because that's actually the relationship that you want to be in, or if you're in a relationship because you're addicted to the fact that you have nothing going on in yourself and nothing else to focus your time and energy on. And now that they're doing all this stuff, they're cheating, they're talking to this girl, talking to that girl, you get to be Sherlock Holmes, where you're sitting around every single day and you're on the phone trying to figure out what's this clue? How does this clue connect? Scooby-Doo? We're the Scooby-Doo crew. And you're sitting around with your girlfriends and you guys are like, okay, so he liked this girl's picture on exactly April 22nd. And I see that in the background, there's a wine glass with red lipstick on it. Look at Jamie's story. On Jamie's story, it's the same wine glass with red lipstick. That looks like the same setting. Okay, so if we go back to this day, it makes a lot of, oh, we caught him. That's the girl. We caught her, right? And you get so addicted to being Sherlock Holmes and going on Scooby-Doo chases with your girlfriends, and the amount of energy and time you spend invested in that guy and figuring out all these clues and connecting all these dots, right? You become not just emotionally invested in the person, in him, but you also become emotionally invested in the amount of energy you had to expend being in that relationship. And so it's very important that you explore as this next step, because that transition period of spending so much of your energy and focus on one particular person, when you detach yourself from that relationship and that person, you're going to feel the excess of energy and time that no longer is going into that person and now has to be channeled somewhere. Because what happens is, if you do not actually have a plan for channeling that energy into something else, you're going to do one of two things. Either you're going to go back to that person because you're going to be like, I'm so bored. I don't got nothing to do. There's nothing fun going on. There's nothing exciting. And that boredom is going to make you feel like it's emotions are very weird. Sometimes we get our wires crossed with different emotions. That boredom you feel from not being so emotionally invested in a person, right? And having to figure out all these Scooby-Doo clues is actually going to confuse you with the idea that you miss that person and that guy, right? You're going to feel like because you're so bored now that you don't have to chase after any more Scooby-Doo clues, that you actually miss him. But you don't actually miss him. You're actually just bored that you don't have to put your energy into him and chase him around and figure out all these clues anymore. Okay. And so it's very important that as you take your energy away from him, that you have a plan to put your energy into something else. Because the second thing that happens is that if you're not putting your energy into him, you take it back and now you have excess energy. Now you say, well, I don't want to put my energy into him. So what's the first thing you're going to do? You're going to put your energy into another guy. Mistake. Okay? Huge mistake. Okay? You don't want to be putting yourself in a situation where you're putting your energy into another guy. That's never going to work out for you. You're just transferring all your feelings that you had for this guy into another guy. And what happens is you're putting your feelings on pause instead of you actually healing and working through the situation and detaching yourself from that last man. You just projected your feelings onto this new guy. And what happens is after that relationship ends with the new guy, your feelings go back on play for the old guy because you never grieved them. You never got over them. You never worked through them. Okay, so very important that you explore your passions. If you don't have any passions, that's part of your problem. Explore your hobbies, explore the things that you enjoy doing. Go out to places that you like going simply because you like going to those places. Don't go to those places looking for boys. Stay off of dating apps. Don't be going to the club or the bar. That's not where you need to be going. You're going there for boys. You're not going there for fun. Go to places that you actually enjoy, whether it be a museum. I don't know. Maybe you're a historian. Go somewhere. Go out to eat with your girlfriends. Go to a fancy dinner. Go to a fashion show. Go to an event. Go to a basketball game. Go to somewhere that you enjoy. Explore your life, that you can begin putting your time and energy invested into something else, because that will allow it to be much easier to emotionally detach yourself from the person. Okay? If you sit around, don't make me get mad. If you sit around and you just lay on your bed like a starfish, okay? And you sit around being bored and say to yourself, I'm so bored. I wish I could do something with someone. And the first thing that's going to come on your mind is going to be that man and how much more interesting your life would be if you were just hanging out with that guy. And once again, your emotions will go from being a river or a stream that you can control and you can allow to pass through you, and they'll be more like Niagara Falls and become uncontrollable. Okay, so you need to be exploring all the different things you can be doing and all the different places you can be going and all the different functions you can attend that you find interesting, not that boys find interesting or that you can go to meet boys, that you find interesting. And you can go there and you can do those things and enjoy those things. And I've said this before to you guys plenty of times, so you guys should know this by now. If you're not sure what you enjoy or where to go or where to spend time, head over to TikTok. You go in the search bar on TikTok, type in things to do in my city, whatever city it is that you live in. If you live in the suburbs or in the outskirts of a city, just type in whatever city is the major city is the closest to you. So things to do in Miami, things to do in LA, things to do in New York, things to do in Lagos, Nigeria, things to do in South Africa, things to do in Manchester, wherever you live, just type in things to do there. Okay. And on TikTok, it will show you a whole bunch of content creators that will tell you all the different things that are amazing to do in your city. You might be thinking, I already know everything that goes on in my city. I'm an expert. I've been everywhere. I've been to every restaurant. I've been to everything. Trust me. Okay. You're not an oracle. There are more things to do in your city than you actually realize. And the amazing part about it is not everything is going out to eat. Okay. There's so much fun, interesting stuff that you can do in a major city that isn't just going out to a bar, a club, or going out to a restaurant. Okay. You'll be shocked when you actually search it up and you realize how many interesting things are out there for you to go do. That isn't just going to a club, bar, or restaurant. It's crazy. And like I say, I'm telling you this because I've actually done it and used it. Okay. I live in Toronto. There are so many interesting, awesome things to do in my city that I never would have even anticipated was a thing to do. There's a place in my city where you can go and you can make a custom rug on the spot. So you can like go with your friends and you can make a custom rug on the spot, create the design from scratch, put it on the rug, like knit it out in the machine and stuff like that, and have it on the rug custom for you in the same day. And you can actually come out of, the time spent with like this custom cool rug. Okay. Something I never would have imagined is even a thing you could do. And where did I find it? By searching on TikTok things to do in my city. And I was like, damn, that's so cool. I didn't even know that I would. This is the thing. Some of you guys like, I don't know what I like. I don't know what I like. I don't know what I want to do. I don't know what I like to spend my time on. I don't know what my hobbies are. That's the thing about it, is when you don't even know what's out there available to you, you don't even know that there are things out there existing that you would enjoy. And the same thing in the example I just gave you guys. I didn't know that I would enjoy going and creating a custom rug from scratch and designing it myself, because I didn't even know that it existed. But when I did the work of trying to figure out other things that are existing that I could possibly enjoy, that's how I came across the thing and realized that I enjoyed it. Okay? Right? You see how that works? Ivy says, I used to live in TO, moved to Clarington. I ride horses now. Perfect. If you enjoy riding horses, then you can do that. I'll probably ride a horse once in my life and it'll only be once. Okay? Right? Something very cool. Scotty says, I would love to make a custom rug. You see how there are things that are existing, and there might be even something like that around you, Scotty, right? There are things existing out there that you don't even realize you would enjoy them or like them because you haven't done the job of stepping outside your house and figuring out other things that are going on in the world outside of your dating app and the club and the bar. When when the only places you go to is the club, the bar, and spend your time on the dating app, yeah, you're going to be bored. Yeah, you're going to feel like there's nowhere else where people go. Trust you me, there's millions of people that exist on this earth, and not all of them go to the club, the bar, or spend their time on dating apps, okay? You need to explore. Very important that you have a plan or a course of action to transition the energy that you used to expend on him and on the relationship, and you're able to transition and move that energy and shift it into something else that you genuinely enjoy, not something that you're just using to distract yourself. It's obviously serving two purposes, but don't just do something that you hate doing for the sole purpose of distracting yourself. You'll just only end up hating that thing more. Do it because you actually enjoy it. In the process of you enjoying it, it's magic. You'll literally be like, oh my God, an hour just passed and I didn't even think about the situation. Or, oh my God, I went the entire day just focused on the thing that I enjoyed doing and I wasn't even thinking about the situation. Right? And it's a lot easier to deal with the emotions that you have when your energy is invested actively in something else that you enjoy doing. Okay? I promise you because I've done it. Okay? So number 1 was flow. Number 2 was to write. Number 3 is to remove. Number 4 was to explore. Okay. And number 5, we ignore. Now, listen very closely. Okay. Listen very closely. You are emotionally detaching yourself from this man. Cool. I want you to understand it's not going to be that easy. Okay? Anticipate the fact that it's not going to be that easy. Not just because it's hard to emotionally detach yourself from the person, but men also enjoy having their grip on you. I'm telling you this as a man. Which means if he gets the sense that you are actually getting over him and getting over the relationship, he will make attempts to gain back control over you. There's nothing more that upsets a man than realizing he's actually lost a girl. Not just you guys break up and, the relationship's over. Like, he's actually lost you to the point where even if he reaches out to you or calls you or texts you or shows up at your place, you're not going to be moved by it. That realization that he's actually lost you is very, very painful. And it's an ego. It's very, it hurts the ego and damages the ego a lot. So why do I bring that up? Because in the process of you actually doing all the other steps and emotionally detaching yourself from this man, from this person, what's going to happen is he's going to say, whoa. You're actually not talking to me. You're actually not texting me. You're actually not calling me. Whoa. That wasn't part of the plan. You're supposed to still be invested in me, that I can still use you and I can get you to come back to me anytime I want to, right? By feeding you more crumbs. And he'll begin to start reaching out back to you, love bombing you, right? Saying all the things that he knows are your trigger points to get you emotional again. It's all a game. It's all a game of the mind, right? Because those men understand, if I can get you emotional again, your emotions will become not like a river, not like a stream that you can control. They'll be like Niagara Falls. So if I can hit all your trigger points, and that's the part about exes or past partners that is so difficult to deal with, because in the process of them growing with you and learning you and understanding you, they will begin to understand all your emotional trigger points. And so what's the first thing he does when he comes back and he's trying to reel you back in? He hits all of your individual unique trigger points, all the things that will get you so emotional about him and the relationship and get you to go back to him, respond to him, be back invested in him again. Okay, remember when I just talked to you guys about removing everything that reminds you of them, the pictures, the videos, the clothing items, all that good stuff. Don't let anything exist that requires you to go back and see him one last time, speak to him one last time, call him one last time. What's going to happen is, and this is why I say ignore, but it's ignore/anticipate, okay? You need to be anticipating the fact that he knows that an easy way to reel you back in is to say, oh, but I just wanted to give you your clothes back. Oh, but I have this thing of yours and I just wanted to return it to you. Oh, but I have this item of yours. I just wanted to give it back to you. Oh, but I had this collage that we made of each other and I just wanted to give it back to you. Excuse me. Right? And he knows that an easy way to reel you back in emotionally is by making it seem like, oh, but there's this thing that we got to do still. And when we do this thing, it's just got to be this one last time that we do this thing before we finally stop seeing each other. Okay? And what's going to happen is, if you're not anticipating that, if you're not aware of that not even just a possibility, as something that's going to happen when you actually try and become successful at emotionally detaching yourself from the man, if you're not anticipating that, it's going to be very difficult to deal with if you're not prepared for that, because the rush of emotions that's going to hit you when he starts hitting all your trigger points and talking to you all the things that you want to hear and saying all the things that you want to hear, it's going to be very difficult to deal with when you're not properly prepared and anticipating that happening. Okay? That's why it's very important you ignore, because you're ignoring him, right? You've blocked him, you're not speaking to him. But in the process of you ignoring, you don't just ignore without the anticipation that he's going to try to break you, right? He's going to try to break you and get back into your life to gain back his control over you. Because once you emotionally detach yourself from the man, he's no longer going to have the control over you. He still wants to have control of you. Trust me. Any man who's been with a woman still wants to be able to have control over her, even if he's not with her anymore. I'm saying this as a man. So your process of actually getting through the situation is removing your emotional attachment to you, that you can remove his control over you. If you are not prepared and anticipating his move to try to gain back control over you, then you'll be flustered when it does happen. That includes not just the returning of items, but it also includes him love bombing you, sending you a bunch. I miss you so much. I regret everything that happened, and this time it'll be different. And I'm not going to treat you anything the same as what I treated you last time. And blah 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 blah. All the apologies in the book. Right? All the love bombing in the book, the big grand gestures to try to win you back over, all of that. If you've already made the decision that this relationship is over and it's not going to work out, and then he tries a big grand gesture when he sees he's lost control over you, that is not genuine. Right? That's not because he wants to make the relationship work. That's because he realizes he's lost control over you. And that is an attempt to gain back control over you and gain control over your emotions. Right? So very important. Okay. Life Sucks says it's so funny. Men think they're smooth. They look insane. It's crazy. It's crazy. Right? Shannon C says, revenge makes me hold on longer. I don't want to feel nothing. Let the emotions come and go. That's the thing too. That's actually another part of remove. And actually Shannon C brings up a great point, right? Part of one of the reasons why a lot of us will continue being invested in the situation or not just let it go that we can emotionally detach is because we want our revenge. Oh, I'm ready for revenge. Oh, I want you to feel the pain that I felt. Oh, I'm going to show you. I'm going to talk to this guy in front of you and make you see how much you're missing out on. And I'm going to do this and you're going to see I got my revenge on you, right? That is also making it harder for you to emotionally detach from the situation. Because what happens? You're sitting there procrastinating, getting over the situation, and you're telling yourself, I'll fully detach after I get my revenge. But truthfully, it's not really about you getting your revenge. You just don't want to detach yourself from the situation fully. And you want another excuse, Sweet just said it, to waste more energy. Right? You can't spend your energy on the man anymore. So now you spend your energy on the revenge. Imagine you're trying to get revenge on a guy who didn't even respect you in the first place. What's the point? He literally showed you through his actions and through the relationship, he didn't give a damn about you in the first place. So what are you really trying to get revenge on? That he can give a damn? To do what with? Get back with you? You don't want to be in a relationship with him. Complete waste of your time and energy. And what's actually happening is you're not actually trying to get your revenge. You're just trying to waste your time and have an excuse that you can continue being invested in him instead of actually doing the things that I just mentioned that will help you emotionally detach yourself from the situation. Some of us are in positions where we don't want to. We say we want to emotionally detach ourselves from the person, but we don't actually want to emotionally detach ourselves from the person, specifically in this case from the man. Okay? Right? Very important. Ashley says they want control even if they don't like you. Yes. 100%. As a man, any woman that you've been with, you want to still continue to have control over her. It doesn't matter if it's been 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 10 years. Right? Even if they don't like you, it's not about whether or not they like you. They just want the control because the control is not about you. The control is about the ego boost that we receive from controlling you. Right? The same way you would go out on a date with a guy who you didn't really like, you didn't find attractive, and you weren't really interested in, and you would go out on that date just to see how much he's going to try and woo you, or what type of lengths he's going to go to try to be with you. It's not really about him at all. It's just about the fact that it feeds your ego to see someone try and do the most to get your attention. It's the same way for the guys, right? It's not really about whether or not they like you. They don't care about they just care about the fact that they can control you and continue to have control over you, because that makes them feel like the man. That, wow, look at me. Look at how powerful I am. I can control this woman. I must have put it down on her so crazy. I got her dickmatized. I got her head spinning. I got her going crazy over me. Control, right? It's the ego boost. Ivy says, is it okay to let him think you're dating other men? I don't think so. I don't think so. So do you guys have any other questions about this as it relates to what we're talking about, how to emotionally detach from a man? Does that bring you clarity? I hope that I could give you some actionable items there. Someone says, do you think men energetically sense when you detach? They do, which is why I don't know if you've ever noticed it, but it seems like as soon as you actually are getting over a guy, he seems to text you or call you out of nowhere or reach out to you out of nowhere or pop up out of nowhere, because they can literally sense, right? It's almost like a sixth sense. They can sense as you're actually detaching from them. Right? Truthfully, they can sense that they're losing their grip on you. And so that's all of a sudden they just, even through time and space. And that's how all of a sudden they reach out to you out of nowhere. The moment you stop thinking about them is the same moment that they reach out to you. It's crazy. Right? Nisha says they play very bad games with the heart. That's why you're trying to join the players club here, that you can understand the games that are going on in relationships and in life, and you can understand how to play your own games and get what you want out of life. Okay. SH says, do we need closure to detach? My advice to you, truthfully, as it relates to closure, is that I wouldn't allow closure to be the be all and end all. If you can get closure, right? If you know the relationship is done, get closure. But if you're in this ongoing back and forth cycle thing, don't worry about closure, just move on. Because sometimes closure is also used as an excuse that I haven't gotten closure yet, so I'm gonna wait until I get closure. I'm gonna wait until we can talk and everything can be. It's a waste. But if you're like ready to end the relationship and you know you're ready to end the relationship and give yourself closure. Excuse me. But don't be waiting on closure as if, oh, I can't end the relationship until I get closure. Do you understand the difference? Okay, very different, right? So that is that. Let's head over to the Discord now. It's Discord time. It's Discord time. It's Discord time. It's Discord time. I hope you asked your question, because it's Discord time. If you didn't ask your question, then you're out of luck, because it's Discord time. It's Discord time. Okay, it's Discord time. We got a lot of questions for Discord time. Okay, let's start off here on the Discord. We got a ton of questions to do today. Okay, let's get started with Leo Spinning. All right, Leo Spinning says, I exchanged Tinder is the title. I exchanged contact info with the guy on Tinder about a week ago. We talked on the phone. Remember what I said about dating apps? We talked on the phone, FaceTimed, and texted for the past week. I called him out that we haven't met in person. He said maybe this weekend. I told him I didn't like that. He sent me memes on how nurses are the worst and are the high school B words. I didn't respond. He texted me good morning. I didn't respond. But I don't know. I'm crazy because I want to set a date. I was so attracted to him before this. Oh my God. He just texted me hi. Okay. First of all, if you've been listening to me for any period of time, Leo Spinning, I always tell you guys to avoid dating apps. They're a waste of time, and they only consist mostly of microwave men who are looking for the easy, quickest, and painless route to Squirtle as possible. Okay, so that's why it's a waste of your time in that sense. It's also a waste, like you're wasting a lot of your own time here. He seems like he's a textaholic, right? So you said you talked on the phone and you FaceTime and you texted. Okay. And so this is why I also tell you guys, don't be giving men access to you in low quality forms. What I mean by that is I understand you men. See, it's like a snowball effect of making wrong choices. When you meet a guy on Tinder, you're naturally going to hop right into texting and Snapchatting and DMing and all that good stuff, right? Because you met them on Tinder. This is the thing. When you allow men to access you in these lower quality forms like texting, like sending you memes, even on the phone or FaceTiming, when he knows he can actually be going on a real date with you, what happens for a lot of men is they become content with just doing this, with just talking on the phone with you, with just FaceTiming you, with just texting you. And only up until the point where they're desperate for Squirtle do they actually say to themselves, hey, maybe I should actually see you in person in real life. Okay. And this whole nonchalant attitude of maybe this weekend, like really think about it. This is why I say you're surrounding yourself with men who are not there to build real relationships. Because imagine you're a woman, and let's assume you're an attractive woman, and you're offering a man to see you in person. And this man is saying maybe this weekend. You're a woman offering yourself to a man, and he's telling you maybe this weekend. This is why I say a lot of these men on these dating apps aren't really ready to build a relationship. Like what does that mean? He doesn't want to see the human woman that he's been talking to. So then this is where you have to ask yourself, what is he actually there for? If he's not even there to see you or meet you in person or go out on any date, what is he actually there for? Is he just there for a text buddy or a pen pal? Some men, I'll be honest with you, some men that aren't interested in a relationship or may have something else going on with another girl that they're talking to and they're physical with, they just want pen pals that they can be talking to and put their energy onto, right? Some of these low quality men, they have a girl that they're physical with, that they're dealing with, but then they also want to have a pen pal on the side. And so they get on Tinder and they get these pen pals. It seems like he just wants a pen pal because I don't know, where do they do that at? Where do they do that at? Where you have a girl that you're talking to, FaceTiming and calling, but you're like maybe this weekend when it comes to actually seeing her in person. So like follow the logic train. If that doesn't make logical sense, then that means that it's because there's something else at play that you're not accounting for. So if naturally it doesn't make sense that a guy would match with you, call you, FaceTime you, text you, and then you're the one asking him when are we going to hang out, and he's saying maybe this weekend, be so for real with yourself. Why would he be doing that if he was actually invested in building a real relationship? Doesn't make sense. Okay. Amber said he's trying to humble you. I don't think in this scenario he's trying to humble you really and truthfully, because like what would be the purpose of that if she was offering already, like we haven't met in person and like saying basically when are we going to meet, right? That's not really like what is the humbling? Like she's already said, let's hang out. You know what I mean? So just keep that in mind. I don't know if that's what he's actually trying to go for, but I definitely know that if he was really serious about building the relationship, he wouldn't be doing that. So my advice to you would be to honestly get off Tinder. Get off Tinder. That's my advice to you, and go out, meet men in real life. You won't have these same problems. Okay. That's Leo spinning. Next we have Erica. Okay. Erica says, did we do Erica's already? No, we didn't do it. So Erica says 22 female, glad you put your age there. So glad you're not under 20. 22 female and we are just friends and have been, the title is what's been going on. 22 and we are just friends and we've been talking for 8 months and now he a 20-year-old man. Okay. He's pretty young. We are a long distance relationship. Okay. We are a long distance relationship. And in the beginning, we would have these disagreements, like we would not be on the same page. He would criticize me and put me down. He likes to feel arrogant, be in control. Also, he has NPD. Someone tell me what NPD stands for. I'm not sure what NPD stands for. Is that narcissist personality disorder? Is that what she's trying to say? So it makes it more difficult, but at the same time, he would call me bad names in the book. However, he does talk to other girls or watch lives on a app. What do you mean? He does talk to other girl or watch lives on a app. He always tells me that he doesn't have any connection with other girls. He said he loves me unconditionally. What? But he talks to other, what? He says that he loves me unconditionally and I love him as well. And we do sleep on the phone and we are long distance as well. And he tells me he doesn't want pieces of me. He wants all of me and by me by myself. And I done something wrong in the past and he would still bring it up. And on Monday, he told me that he was busy. Let me make sure that he was busy all day. And then he didn't call me around 11 at night. And he said, I didn't think you would be worried. And he's so health cautious. Guys, make sure you do a spell check. He's so health cautious about my weight, how my body looks, etc. He told me he is still trying to adjust with everything. What do you mean adjust? Have you gained a lot of weight or something? And now he doesn't turn on his location and he's active on Facebook. At the end, he tells me he wants me to trust him in a way. How can I trust him if he doesn't have those on? And he did tell me he didn't want to commit ever since the beginning and until now. However, he did tell me that he had a surprise of asking me out in person. And it's like he is asking me how I am going to ask. What? And it's like he is asking me how am I going to ask him out now. He doesn't want it where the guy always does it, etc. So are you saying at the end here that he's asking you how you're going to ask him out? That is actually comedy. This is actually freaking hilarious. Okay, Erica, you just spent this entire long, amazing, detailed question telling me all the ways why this man is not a good partner to you. So I'm I was waiting for you to say something good that's going on, or the reason that you're even in the relationship. And I actually think in the weirdest way, this question that you have, the answer to your question is actually exactly what we talked about today. Because if you were to write down, I mean, you kind of did here, but if you were to write down all the pros and cons of being with him, I don't think you would have many cons. I mean, and the crazy part about this is you're experiencing all of these cons and you're not even getting the benefit of being like, oh, but we're so intimate and he loves me so well. And, he's got a huge, long, stick and he rams it in me and it's so amazing. And that's why I'm with him. You don't even have the benefit of being able to say that as the positive because you're in a long distance relationship. So you're not getting the intimacy. You're not getting the connection. You're not getting the physical. All you're getting is the bad. You said yourself, this not me. You said yourself, he's got narcissist personality disorder. Now that's a buzzword that people use and they don't know the meaning of, but I'm assuming you're using it because he's actually has the diagnosed disorder, not just you're saying that, right? And so you're pointing out a lot of different ways why this isn't the relationship for you and why he's not the partner for you. You're also letting me know that you don't really ever see him. So it's not even like the process of you guys breaking up would be that painful. You're just really emotionally attached to him and this situation, probably because you've been invested in him. And the more time you invest in him, the more you feel emotionally attached to him. But for the most part of what you're actually getting out of this relationship, if you were to write this down, I think you'd probably realize that you're not getting that much from this. Like, what are you at? I'm trying, guys, am I confused here? Maybe I've misread something or I missed a paragraph that's existing here that I just, can't read it. Have you seen anything here that says for any reason for her to continue being with him or that is the positive aside from she loves him? I don't see anything on here that is communicating to me the reason that you would even want to continue the relationship. I'm very confused where what element there is or what you're gaining from this, right? At least if you, like I said, at least if this was in person, I could assume that you were getting, rammed into and maybe that was the part that was keeping you there, but clearly it's not that. So what are you getting from this? That's my question to you. When you answer that and write that down, what the pros and the cons are, I think it'll be very clear to you what decision you should be making and whether or not this is the right relationship to be investing your time and energy into. Okay, to answer your question as to what's been going on, I honestly think there's not been anything going on. I think you're just trying to force a relationship with a man who's not really interested in building a relationship with you, and he's just trying to string you along and be a pen pal with you for whatever reason serves him best at that time. Okay. Next we have done. I think this was from yesterday. Yeah, this was from yesterday. This was Duns from yesterday. So we already did Duns. By the way, if you guys ever see me scroll down and you see comments in the section there, that's just other people, other amazing members of the Players Club responding to someone in the live stream chat. So we did this yesterday, but since then, some beautiful, amazing women have responded to her and given them her perspective as well. Please feel free to go into the Discord and respond to people in the Discord. That's perfectly fine with me. Okay. Prim says, let me make sure this is from today. Okay. Okay. Prim says, in a situationship with my first love. Prim says, hello, I am 21, female, and the guy I'm with is also 21. I've been on and off with my first boyfriend. We met in high school at 17. Okay. And started dating in 2020. We dated for a year and a half and broke up. Since then, we went back and forth. September 2023, we cut things off since things got so emotional and it was a wreck. He started talking to one of his female friends and it became a situationship with her. He reaches out to me at the end of November 2023 and we become exclusive. Wait, how did that timeline jump like that? Okay. It was good for 3 days, but we started fighting and he started seeing her again after claiming to reject her because apparently she liked him. I mean, they were in a whole situationship, right? I had a feeling he was seeing her and doing stuff with her, being intimate, but I couldn't confirm anything. I found evidence January 2024 and confronted him and ghosted him for 3 days, making him feel like he lost me for good. During this time of no contact, he called me. He called me and on and sent hundreds of texts. We talked and he cut the female friend off. Fast forward to now, I still feel so insecure about the girl, but I know I shouldn't. Why do you know that you shouldn't? He tried my boundaries. I'm assuming he meant tested my boundaries regarding her. For example, they caught up one time on text and he talked to her in person and he saw her one time and I told him to block her basically or else I wouldn't be with him. I hate that I think about this female friend. I read her old texts. We all go to the same college. Oh my gosh. So sometimes he sees her at the gym. Oh my gosh. What should I do? He hasn't asked me to be his girlfriend yet, but we have been exclusive. The girl reached out to try to rekindle their friendship, but he told her that he's still working things out with me. I don't know why he hasn't asked me to be his girlfriend. It's already May. Is he using me? I don't know. LOL. Okay. Okay, Perm. A great detailed question that you just gave here. I'm going to be real with you, okay? This is part of the reason why I always actually I want you guys to really see my whole face for this. This is part of the reason why I tell you beautiful people that all of this silly, we're besties. Oh, we're just such great friends. Oh, I have a boyfriend, but I have a best friend, guy friend too. Oh, I have a girlfriend, but I have a great best girlfriend too. Get rid of all of that garbage, okay? I'm talking about all of you. You see how easy it is to find yourself in a confusing situation where you don't feel like you can speak up for yourself because of the friendship? This is the problem. Because when you allow a gray area to exist, it becomes very difficult to identify the difference between things that are appropriate and what's inappropriate. Why? Because everything seems to fall under the umbrella of friendship. And now you are in a situation where you have a romantic partner that you don't feel like you can appropriately address for the things that they're doing in your relationship that you feel are inappropriate under this umbrella of friendship. Not that you should never ever be able to have a single friend, but this idea of the best friend, this ongoing, I talk to this person every single day, I see them every single day because we're best of friends, cut that out. Cut that out. That will only end you up in a situation like this. Because truthfully, when we're talking about heterosexual relationships, men and women are not making these best friendships because of the best friendship, right? Because of the companionship. There's always some level of underlying attraction, whether it be on one side or the other, that is going on. Okay. And I say that because this is a perfect example of that. And Prim has now found herself in a situation where she doesn't feel like she can properly address the situation because of friendship. Okay. Already, this is inappropriate simply because this friendship was, I would have already said it was inappropriate, even if they weren't in a situationship before. But the fact that they were in a situationship before makes it even more inappropriate that they would be friends now. Ain't no friends, okay? Clearly, once you cross that line, ain't no friendship going on. Clearly, there's an attraction between both of you, right? And you guys want to be with each other more than just friends. So this idea that they're continuing this ongoing friendship, even though they don't actually just want to be friends, is ridiculous. Now, I understand that you said that he's attempting to cut the friendship off, but it doesn't seem like he's really doing that. Okay? I know that you said you wanted him to block her. At the very least, he should unfollow her if he's serious about building this relationship with you. And I think you're at the point where you need to make a decision, because if he's, okay, you might, I don't advise ultimatums, but I think you need to get to the point where you just say straight up, I'm not going to deal with a person, a man who has an active, ongoing friendship or whatever ship with a woman who he was romantic with. So it's either you end that and be a man and figure out how you're going to end that and cut that off so it's not an issue anymore, or this relationship with me is done. There's no version of us where you continue having this ongoing friendship or back and forth and you have me in your life. So figure out how you're going to come up with the strategy to address that appropriately. Or if you can't figure out that strategy in a couple of days' time, I will be gone. And that's basically the stance that you have to have. Because if you don't have that hard stance and create that black and white, line between what's right and wrong and what you expect and what you're willing to allow, everything will continue to be great and you'll never be comfortable in this relationship. This friendship will just be ongoing and it will be like a fly just buzzing around your ear for the rest of your life. So you need to set the record straight and be willing to walk away if he's not prepared to take the necessary steps to end this friendship for good, that it's not an issue. And I'm talking black and white. So any response from him that is not a black and white, I have ended this friendship for good and she will never contact me again, or even if she does contact me, it will be ignored by me. Any answer or response to the situation outside of that, you need to be prepared to walk away, because other than that, it will be great and you'll never be able to feel comfortable or have happiness in the relationship. Okay, so that's my advice to you, Prim. What the hell just went on? Oh, Prim's was like up here. What just happened? Okay. We did Prim's 2-year. Did we do this one? Yeah, we did. We did the 2-year relationship. That was from another day. Wait or walk away, Asia says. Okay. So Asia says, wait or walk away. I'm talking to a guy for a few months now. I know you said don't be a textaholic. Clearly you've been listening. I'm glad. However, our dynamic has started this way. I have told him, though, that I would want to see him often and text less, but I always end up not sticking to my word. Okay. On our first date, unfortunately, I gave up pineapple. Oh my God, it's mistake after mistake. After it happened, I asked him, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Wow. Oh my God. You, this is you just did wrong choice after wrong. It's like you chose every wrong choice. On our first date, unfortunately, I gave up pineapples. After it ended, I asked him if he wanted to date me or just continue having pineapples with me. Oh my God, Asia, what are you doing? He said without hesitation, chose to just have me as a pineapple buddy. Oh my God. Asia, what are you doing? You're listening to me and you're saying how can you make mistakes? It's like you listen to me talk every day and then you actively chose to do everything I've told you not to do. How did you make mistakes this bad? Okay? We're not even a quarter of the way through here. I have told him that I am not looking for that. And we stopped talking for a few weeks. We ended up talking again. And this time he said he is just not ready for a relationship. I don't understand. If he doesn't want me, then why does he keep talking to me? Oh my gosh, Asia. Liking my stories and acting like he's so interested in me. Later on, he told me he wished he is everything I want because he still likes me and is attracted to me. By the way, he knows that I know that he is a serial player. Asia, what are you doing? Truthfully, I don't mean this to diss you, but what are you actually doing? I'm lost here. What are you actually doing? I know he is a serial player. He has opened up to me that he has cheated before. I need to keep reading. I won't get through this. I honestly am waiting for him to change. I want him to feel that someone could love him, even if he is Every sentence gets worse. How is this possible? Every sentence that I read I'm going to start glitching. Every sentence literally gets worse. I am waiting for him to change. I want him to feel that someone could love him even if he is a mess. Since then, he's been acting hot and cold on text. He wouldn't really initiate a conversation unless I do so. Okay, you might be Is she trolling me? Guys, is she trolling me? Because this is insane. Unless I do so. I also made a mistake of whatting with him. I regret it so much now because I feel like he won't ever take me seriously anymore. You think? Want to end it, but I don't want to be too dramatic about it. I have made a mistake of sending long, dramatic paragraphs before. Oh my God. Given the fact that we are not even dating and everything was just over text, you're just hitting me over and over again. Is it okay to just disappear and never talk to him again without goodbyes or explanations? Or do I owe him a message that I'm moving on, etc.? I mean, he wouldn't care, but I guess it's just ego that I want to make my exit to hurt him. Also, do you think that players and cheaters change? If a guy seen you as a fun girl or someone to just sleep with, would he stay like that or would it change? How do we change it? Oh my God. Wow, this was exhausting. Okay. I for your sake, Asia, I actually hope you're trolling me, but I will help you regardless. Actually, let me take a drink first, because like I'm actually shocked. I did not. I want you guys to know I don't read these ahead of time. So the same time that I'm reading through these, it's my first time reading these. Okay, Asia, I hope you're trolling me. I will help you anyways. First of all, you already should know the first quarter of mistakes that you make sleeping with him on the first date, giving him pineapples, and then asking him, you like to sleep with him, and then literally right after that, ask him if he wants to date you after you've given him no reason to want to date you, is pure insanity. Like, it's a level of insanity I can't even fathom how you would do that in that order like that. I don't understand what was going through your mind when you made those decisions like that. Okay? That's insanity to do that. Okay? So I want to be honest with you. I actually don't fault him for treating you the way he's been treating you. You have given him every reason to see you as a fly-by-night fun girl that he doesn't need to take seriously. This is where we have to start taking accountability, and I'm going to have to like get in your guys' butts and like force you to take some accountability here, because for everything that we talk about and we discuss about men's perspective and men's perspective on dating and relationships and women, for you to do that and then expect him to see you as anything more than just a fun girl that he doesn't have to take seriously is ridiculous. You've done everything that will show him with your actions that he doesn't need to take you seriously at all. So I don't even think it's about him not liking you. I honestly think it's about you. You literally did everything to make yourself be perceived as a fun girl who is not worth any real investment. Okay? Like, that's insane. Right? And then for you to do all of this other stuff, and then you say that you knew that he was a player and all this, like, mistake after mistake after mistake. And to answer your question here at the end, no, he's not going to change. You have given him no reason. Like, he might change for a woman he actually respects. Okay, but he's not going to change for you. Not a chance. Like, why? You're doing everything that will make you be perceived as the fun girl. Nothing here will help him take you more seriously. Now, I understand we all make mistakes, and maybe you're acting off of emotion and you just felt so strongly about the guy that you didn't, you made the mistakes even though you knew they were wrong. But I will be the first one to tell you, don't bother wasting your time trying to show him or trying to get him to regret missing you or that he losing you or whatever. Don't waste none of your time on none of that BS. Just block his number, block his Snapchat, block his Instagram, block the everything, throw away his clothes, throw away anything that reminds you of him, and move on from the situation. Nothing you can say or do, okay? Nothing you can say or do is going to help this situation be better. Okay? He's not going to miss you. He's not going to think about you. He's not going to want to be in a relationship with you. Waste of your time trying to do anything more with him. You've literally already sabotaged yourself, and you've already done everything that will hurt you and make this relationship not work in your favor. So you're better off just moving on with your life. Don't bother changing him. Don't worry about whether players change. This one won't. And there will be no man that will ever respect you when you allow yourself to be perceived like that and you do that. If you go about a relationship like that, no man will ever respect you. So before you start worrying about what the men are doing or whether or not he wants to be with you, you need to start looking inward at your own actions and be like, okay, is what I'm doing allowing me to be viewed in the light that I want to be viewed in? Are you following me so far? Right? Very important that you understand that. I see that my internet's kind of glitching on there. Is it glitching for you guys on YouTube? I know it's probably glitching for you guys on TikTok, right? Very important that you acknowledge that and be honest with yourself about how your actions are making you be perceived. Okay? This was the most insane message I think we've ever been on. But Asia, if you're watching or you rewatch this when me answering your question, please don't just listen to what I say. Listen to what the women said in the chat as well in the replay, because it's not just me that knows, they know as well. Okay. That was a lot of this. What you did was a mistake here. Okay. So that was that one. Next we have Julia. Okay. Julia says, let's read Julia's. Julia says, hey guys, I've met someone on Hinge. We went on a date and everything went well. Sorry, the title is Liking Story After Rejection. And everything went well. After the date, he messaged me that it was cool and if I got home safe. Okay. We messaged and I asked for the second date. Why would you ask? You're not a man. Then he randomly said he doesn't want to meet again because the vibe wasn't right. I was confused, but I just liked the message and didn't reply. A few weeks later, I posted an Instagram story and he liked it. I am not hoping for him to text me again, something I'm just wondering why men act like this. What I would say to that is, men are horn dogs. So like he might like the story simply because he likes how you were looking in the story. And you also, okay, this is the thing that we have to be honest with ourselves about. Sometimes you might go on a date, and this is part of the problem of meeting people on Hinge. I know I always poo-poo the dating apps, but part of the other reason I poo-poo the dating apps too is because instead of you meeting someone through a shared interest or passion or hobby on something you can connect with, and you know that you connect on something, meeting people on Hinge is really just kind of like meeting a random stranger. And you don't really have anything that you're connecting over and connecting through. And the problem with that is when you actually go out on these dates, sometimes you find yourself in a position where like you're kind of just like I don't really like you. I'm not really interested in anything that you're interested in. I don't really like anything about you except how you look. That's the problem with Hinge, is that you're connecting with someone based on first how they look before anything. Obviously, we do that in real life, but then you're just kind of texting and you don't really get a sense of their vibe, right? The energy that they have, because you're meeting them over the app. And it takes you meeting them in person to actually get a sense of their vibe or their energy or what it feels like to actually be around them in real life. And for a lot of us, the process of meeting people on Hinge is doing it backwards, because you meet them on Hinge and you decide that you're interested in them without ever getting a sense of their energy or their vibe or being around them. Then when you actually are around them in real life, you realize that you don't actually vibe with them. They're not actually your, you don't feel good. You don't connect on anything, right? But you realize that after you've already decided to be interested in them, when it actually should be that as you meet someone, you realize because of their vibe, because of their energy, because of your connection, that you're interested in them. You see how that works against you? So Julia, my advice to you would be get off of Hinge, step outside of your house. Okay, and go somewhere that you actually enjoy spending your time. And as it relates to the mirror pick and why he liked the pick, simply because he's a horn dog and he liked the way you look. Maybe you have a huge dump truck, okay, and your dump truck was busting out of your pants in the IG story. Very simple. Remember, you connected on Hinge. So what was the first thing he seen of you? Your pictures. So why would he not like your pictures? It's the same thing as Hinge, okay? Just because he likes your pictures, that doesn't mean you guys connected on the date or that he was interested in you or enjoyed spending time with you, right? Guys whack off to pineapple stars all day. They don't know anything about those pineapple stars. Doesn't mean anything, right? That's not what's relevant. They're just whacking off, right? You might have a huge dump truck. He's just, his stuff standing up. He likes the story, keeps it pushing. Doesn't mean that he wants to be with you or even wants you. Clearly he doesn't, because he didn't even want to go on a second date. Okay. That was, I believe, all of them today. If we have any more to get to, we'll get to them tomorrow. Okay. So that was the show for today. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. That was crazy, that message that we got from Asia. Asia, please identify yourself in the chat. If you're in the chat in the future or you're in the chat now, please identify yourself. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the show. I hope you guys learned some things, got some things from the show. For those of you who guys want to follow me on Instagram, my Instagram's right up there on top of my head. If you're on TikTok, And for those of you who want to follow me on Instagram, it's right down there on the bottom right of the screen if you're on YouTube. If what was I just gonna say? If you want to watch a replay of this live stream and you're on TikTok right now, you're like, this is the best show ever. I can't believe someone does something like this. This is such amazing quality. I need to see this again 10,000 times. Go onto my YouTube. It's right on top of my head, and you can rewatch the live stream in its entirety right on the live section with the TikTok chat and the YouTube chat embedded, so you can get all the context of what everyone's saying. It's such an amazing experience. Okay. So those two things. I will be back tomorrow. Tomorrow's Friday, right? I'll be back tomorrow at 4 p.m. Eastern time exactly to speak to you again about love, life, and relationships. So don't feel like it'll be too long until you see me again. Please make sure you're subscribed to me on YouTube if you're not already. I post lots of amazing content on there, okay? I will see you beautiful people tomorrow at 4 p.m. Eastern time sharp. By the way, if you're wondering how you get your question in on Discord, you just go to the link in the bottom of the description if you're on YouTube. If you're on TikTok, you just go over to the link in my bio on my TikTok profile and you'll find the Discord link there. Make sure you open it in browser if you're having some issues, right? And then you can ask your question in the relationship advice section and I will answer it live on the show, okay? I love you so much. I will see you guys at 4 p.m. tomorrow.